You guys ready for another month of some new additions to the home library? Well, let's go ahead and do that for August of 2022. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another book haul, this time for August of 2022. Just happened to be my birthday month, so there might have been a couple of things that floated through here, to say happy birthday, I guess. So any excuse I can have to add new things to the library, even if some of them I might have gifted to myself, I'm always going to do that. Room in the shelves be damned, but we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to begin like usual, guys, about talking about digital purchases because what do I always say? They count, right? First up, I got a couple that are kind of replacements. Now, I know that one of these, the author actually sent to me, and another one, a viewer sent to me. I cannot find them. I looked everywhere for them. I don't know what happened. I don't know how they walked off somehow. I don't know if my kids have got them and are using them for, a wobbly table leg or something. I don't really know. First up is Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman. This is going to be one that I'm going to be reading this year during spooky season in October. But I did have a viewer actually sent this to me. Said it was just an awesome book, and that was really what put it on my radar because I had never heard of it before that. But I can't seem to find it, so I did go ahead and replace it on the old Kindle. That way I can read it this year for spooky season. And anytime you can deal with some medieval horror like I just got when I read Hellmouth by Giles Christian, that sounds like a genre that isn't really a subgenre that really isn't being attacked very much. I think it should because it's a very, very neat idea. Next up is We Are the Dead. This is book one in the, The Last War trilogy, I believe, by Mike Shackle. Now, when I talked to the Gwynn brothers, Edward and Will, they were so high on the series. And they pretty much had me at, it's like Joe Abercrombie meets. I was like, say no more, gentlemen. I get where you're coming from. But Mike had actually sent me this first book about a year ago, and I even tore apart my closet, guys, thinking maybe somehow it got put in there. Cannot find it. So I felt like I owed it to Mike, who actually sent me a book all the way from the other side of the pond. I have no problems, paying it forward and purchasing his book on digital. And I do plan to read those next spring. That is the plan right now. Yes, guys, I do plan ahead that far in advance. But if you've watched this channel before, you know that. Next up is a self-published release that I talked about actually last week. This is The Legend of Blackjack by A.R. Witham. This is one that when I actually did the book haul last month and I talked about how he sent me a physical copy, it was like free on Kindle that day. He actually brought that up. So I went ahead and grabbed it and said, why not always just have a backup copy on Kindle in case I'm on the run or I want to read in bed or something like that. I'm always going to go ahead and add any free digital purchase to my Kindle because why not? And AR seems to be just such an awesome guy. I don't mind helping him out and spreading the good word any way that I can. Now, last up, guys, this is kind of one that's just off the cuff for me. I haven't really heard anyone talk about it outside the most recent live stream I had. An author that kept coming up, or actually a book rather than the author, that kept coming up in my last live stream, which was for 75,000 subs. Thank you guys for joining me for that. Recommendation I kept getting was something called Kagan the Damned by Jonathan Mayberry. Now, I don't know if it's Mayberry or Mulberry. I don't know. I grew up watching Andy Griffith when Braves games were in rainouts. Maybe that's why I'm just thinking of Mayberry. But I don't know anything about this. I assume it's a vampire book when you got a name like The Damned in it. That's usually what it is. Don't know the first thing about it. I know book 2 is about to come out apparently. So I went ahead and said, why not? It's got a really sexy cover. Let's go ahead and check that one out. But that one is just totally from you guys, from recommendations. So even though I don't read everything that you guys recommend to me right away, I am listening. And I do like to put things on my to-do list for later down the road because I don't intend to ever stop reading, honestly, you guys. But I did go ahead and pick up some physical things too. And I know that's why you guys are here to talk about these physical purchases. I completed my Robin Hobb collection with, The Willful Princess and the Piebald Prince. I wanted to get this because it matched the rest of them. It matches all of those Harper Voyager paperbacks that are just absolutely beautiful. This is no different. Very, very small, obviously a novella, and I don't really even know anything about it or where it goes. I just know that my Robin Hobb scholar on my Discord, Scott, the bald booktuber who does the House of the Dragon shows with me, he is pretty much just gave the same review he gives to all Robin Hobb books. It kicks ass. Read it. So I wanted to go ahead and complete that series while I could. Next up, guys, I did really love The Warlord Chronicles by Mr. Bernard Cornwell when I read that last year. So I said, I don't have these on the schedule yet, but the next trilogy of his I'm going to read is Grail Quest. This is Harlequin. This is Vagabond and Heretic. And again, some awesome covers. I love the spines on these. They actually may not seem like a big deal to some people, but if you're a collector, you get it. It actually has like the years on them and stuff like that. Now I know there is one more book that he's wrote later. I want to say it's like 1346 or no, this is 1346 here. I don't remember what, 1356 maybe. I didn't get that one because it wasn't part of this collection. But yeah, I saw this nice matching set and I said, yeah, let's definitely do that. So I don't know when I plan to read it, guys, but this will be the next Bernard Cornwell I do is going to be Grail Quest or maybe Stonehenge since it is a standalone. Maybe I will do that. But I am very anxious to visit Cornwell again. I know some of you are saying, what about Saxon stories, Mike? I think I'm so in that mode right now. If I want to do trilogies, I want to do 3-4 book series. I'm not ready to start another 13 book series as much as I love Uhtred, Son of Uhtred. So we're just gonna wait for now. Here's another one, guys. It's gonna be for spooky season this year. It was on the list of horror books I haven't read yet that I did last year. My most popular video on the channel is my top 10 horror novels of all time, which is weird because horror content doesn't really draw very much on here, but for whatever reason that video did. So when I followed it up, one of the books I had on there was The Exorcist. Now this one by William Peter Blatty is another one. It's kind of like The Godfather, and that it was on my bucket list, as in it's two of my favorite movies of all time, and I've never read the books. Well, I read Godfather this month, and in August, and I want to make sure I read The Exorcist this year because it is on that list, and it is just something that I really, really want to do. So again, that's another one that came up in the live stream. I forget the name of the user that actually asked me about it, but thank you. You reminded me that this was what I wanted to read this year, so I'm glad that I went ahead and picked that up because, yeah, that movie is scary as hell, and I imagine this book is going to be no different, and I can't wait. It really is going to set the tone for Halloween this year. And lastly, guys, this is just I'm going to kind of just keep building on the Legend of Drizzt as I find them. Just kind of get a new one every once in a while. This is book number 11 in that series. I'm not sure what this trilogy is called, but it's all 3 or 4 book series or whatever. But I started reading Icewind Dale last week and actually finished The Crystal Shard already, and made me think I should keep getting these Drizzt books very, very slowly. Now I'm really loving my time in Forgotten Realms. I think Drizzt is an awesome character, and Guinevere is easily one of my favorite animal companions now. If I was adjusting that list, Guinevere would make the cut already. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of keep adding to those slowly over time. Yeah, like I said, I've got the first 11. I'll just kind of keep adding as I go. And lastly, guys, when you don't have any new books you want to get, what do? You get a new coffee mug. Because at one point my wife said, hey, no more beer glasses. And I said, you know what, that's very fair, because I don't even drink beer anymore. But what I do drink a lot of is coffee, guys. So she never said that I couldn't keep getting more coffee mugs. So I've kept doing that. And if you've watched this channel, you know I get lots of new coffee mugs. Being from Houston, Texas, guys, I'm a big fan and supporter of NASA. Fun NASA, guys. And so I said, hey, why not get a new mug? They got a launch going on right now. Yeah, so I'm all about NASA, space exploration as a whole. Not just because I'm from Houston, but I think, you know what? It'd be fun to see other worlds than these. Before I shuffle off this mortal coil, I would like to see us get to Mars. I think it'd be a lot of fun, right? So I don't mind adding a new mug to the collection, and that's a very, very fine one because the NASA logo, the meatball, is iconic, right? So let's go ahead and move along, guys. There's some of the things that some self-published and independent authors have sent me for this month. Okay, first up, we got something called Effects Vary by Michael Harris Cohen. Didn't come with a note or anything like that, so I am assuming that it came from the author, maybe the publisher. I'm not really sure. But like I always say about self-published things, guys, is I don't know very much about these. So I'm going to post the link down below. So if you want to know more about them, you want to look them up, you want to check them out, I do encourage you to do that. Next up, I got Boogeyman. This was sent to me by Jason Payne, who wrote me a nice handwritten letter. This is a lot of work went into this, and your handwriting is fine, Jason. There's nothing to apologize for. Compared to my kids, this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous handwriting. But this is a very, very much a labor of love they've done here. They've made this comic book / graphic novel, right? And it's. I was going to get it for my kids, and then I looked at it, I was like, maybe not. But they sent me koozies. They sent me stickers. There's even a soundtrack in here. So, yeah, these guys are really, really cranking it to 11 here. And anytime I can add some new horror to the collection, I am a fan of that. Next up from Owen Winter, this is Artistoria. I want to say Aristoria. Artistoria, book number 1, wrote me a really nice letter. I do appreciate all the kind things that you said in there. It's really, really kind of you to say that my content is fun as some people think that it is. This is Tomorrow's Flight by M.E. Ellington and Stephen Stifel. And an interesting note in here about how they had offers from publishers and they didn't want to just sign with anyone. They believed in the quality of their content enough. They wanted to go ahead and do it on their own. And I do admire when people do that. I think this one came with a nice bookmark as well. You know, there's a QR code. But yeah, like I said, I'll drop that down below. And lastly, this is from Luc Dumas, or is it Dumas? A History of Fear, wrote me also a very nice letter saying, you know, how much they respect my love for horror. Like I said, even though I know horror doesn't do very well on this channel, those of us that do love horror, we do cling to each other and stick together, right? That is very much something that we do. So drop in the comments down, or sorry, the description down below. I'll post links to all these if you guys want to check these out. What I always say about self-published authors is I always encourage them to chase their dreams, and if I can help you out just by giving you a shout out on these videos, I would happily do that. I do love to do that for you. I mean, there's several you know, self-published authors I can think of that I've kind of given some help to, and I'm happy that I can do that for you, even if I don't have time necessarily to read and review anything right now. But like I said, guys, every author that we love at one point was trying to get published, so I do encourage those people to chase their dreams. How about some stuff from publishers? I got my usual mailer from Baen, and they continue to send me just some of the sleekest looking sci-fi books I've ever seen here. Let's see here. We got To End in Fire by David Weber and Eric Flint. David Weber seems to be a standby for them. And then we got more of the 1637, but there is a ton of these. Ton of them. So they must be doing very well. Edited by our friend Chris Verrocchio. Sword and Planet actually has a Sun Eater story in it. I actually have this one on trade. I actually bought it on trade paperback when it came out. Now it's on mass market. Dan Cobalt, Deploying Dragons. That's an interesting cover there, right? And a couple more hardcovers. David Kerrico in The Blood is the Life. See, here's the thing, guys. I got to wear glasses now because I'm going blind, but I don't need them when anything's this close. So you're like, yeah, I'm going to be one of those people like the grandma who's got to get like the strings attached so I can like have them hang right here. And yeah, this one's edited by Larry Correia. No Game for Knights. I got to say, Larry Correia is probably the biggest author on their label still to this point. But I don't know. Like I said, as many books as I see come flying through here from David Weber, maybe it is him. I'm not really sure. And lastly, from publishers, guys, I did get an ARC. It is a digital ARC, and I talked about Mr. Chris Verrocchio there for a minute. They did go ahead and send me, that is Dahl Publishing, or whoever purchased Dahl Publishing. I'm drawing a blank right now. Well, they did approve me for a digital e-ARC for book number 5 in the Sun Eater saga. That is Ashes of Man. However, I'm not reading that right now. I want to read it in December with people on my Discord that are anxious to read it together, because when we read Kingdoms of Death together, I thought that was a very, very exciting thing to do. So that's one of those kind of things where, like, you love to get a book early as a book reviewer. It's a lot of fun to feel like you've got access, you know, that really is cool. And I want to help Chris Verrocchio out because I think he's an awesome human being and an even better author. Not really. Flip it. Reverse it, like Willy Wonka would say. But I like reading those with other people so I can see their reactions and stuff. Because I think about when I read those Dresden Files books like 6 months before everybody else and I couldn't talk to anybody about it. Kind of sucked, you know? So there's a fine line there, but I do appreciate them thinking of me and thinking that, hey, this would be something that you would like to review, because I will review that when the time does come. But I do have some stuff that you guys sent me this month. Let's go ahead and talk about those now. Okay, first up, from one of my favorite patrons. That is, of course, Steph, one of my favorite humans. Actually, she sent me a nice birthday present. This is now my third copy of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And what's so cool about these editions is that they're almost like a pop-out book, but you got to kind of build it yourself. I haven't taken it out of plastic yet because I don't want anything to fall out of it. My kid and I were going to do the one for the Sorcerer's Stone over the summer, but he got addicted to his iPad and he didn't have time for old dad and wasting things like, you know, using your imagination and your brain. So yeah, but I'm glad to have this added to the collection. It'll be, you know, the third set of Harry Potter books that I'm going to be working on completing. So thank you, Steph. I am very, very thrilled to eventually, when my kids, maybe when his battery dies on his iPad, we're going to build those together. This one is from Doug. It is volume 2 of Edgar Rice Burroughs' massive Tarzan collection. And what I've said, guys, is like, I love Barsoom. That's John Carter of Mars. I've never really read Tarzan. I read like one short story in high school. I don't remember what it was. I was surprised and kind of shocked at how savage and brutal it was. So I definitely do want to revisit, especially after I started reading more Barsoom again and seeing how well Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff, really his writing style had, just almost felt kind of timeless. So I am excited to eventually get into this. I think that these will be some nice little palate cleansers since it's a collection of short stories. I've got the complete set here. So thank you, Doug. That's a very, very, it's massive, but it's a very, very awesome edition. Tarzan, it's like I think that John Carter of Mars movie was very good. Disney just botched the marketing on it, and it's just shame now that they consider that IP like poisonous. They can't go back to it, but yet they've made a dozen horrible Tarzan movies, and they make a new one every like 5 years. So I don't know, whatever. This is a great one from Keisha, who actually said I've actually influenced her to get a lot of books, so she wanted to send me the first volume of Berserk. Now I haven't started getting these yet because they're very expensive. And actually, when Mr. Miura passed away, the prices of them all really kind of skyrocketed. But they've started to calm down a little bit now. So I might actually start working on it. But these editions are super, super sexy. It's black leather. And I mean, the upgrade in the quality of these is just spectacular over the paperbacks that they have out there right now. So thank you very much, Keisha. I don't know when I can plan on starting to kind of complete working on these, but I will definitely start to, now that I have the first one, it kind of opens that floodgate of interest of getting more of them. And these early years of Berserk, guys, I know I kind of was like iffy on the last arc, but this first like 100 issues or so, or 200 issues are just slamming, and that's a great place for anyone to start. Next up, this one is from Karen, who actually sent me 2 books that I am very interested to read, but I'm actually already got one of them on the schedule for next year. That, of course, is Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry, and this is the sequel, Dead Man's Walk. Now, I know these are kind of out of like chronological order. I think they take place, I'm not really sure what the timeline is. I just know I am starting with Lonesome Dove. I'm going to be reading that one next year. My wife's going to actually join me on that one. I'm not crazy about reading Westerns. I love Westerns movies. I love them on the screen, but I've never really been able to get to them, get along through them, or really get through them at all, really, when reading them. But Lonesome Dove is considered by many to be the greatest book of all time, not just the greatest Western book of all time. And I do love that miniseries. I watched that miniseries last year, and it was amazing. So if the book's even half as good as a miniseries, which I'm sure that it is, I can't wait to do it. So I'm going to be doing that next year. It's going to be one of my big standalones that I do. This one came through the other day from Elliot. I have never heard of it. I think it's called The Vagrant Trilogy by Peter Newman. Really great covers. I was actually talking to Patrick, and I was talking to Mark over at Slowly Read, who basically described this series as the main character is actually mute, and he has like a talking goat. I don't know. So that seems like a very interesting choice for a fantasy series. But I think Elliot said that after I've influenced him to read so many other fantasy series, he wanted to recommend one to me. So thank you, Elliot. These are very, very cool. And if you want a matching set, this is definitely the way to go. But apparently, these aren't available in the States yet, I believe, because he had to actually have them sent from Amazon UK. And I have a lot of people telling me shipping for those is just insane to the States. So I don't know. Your mileage may vary on there. I've never did. This one kind of showed up without a name, guys. I don't know who sent this to me. I don't think it came from Daniel Abraham. But this is Age of Ash, his new series. It just started this year. Hey, thank you for whoever sent this. If you're the one who sent this to me, please drop down below and let me know so I can give you a proper thank you. I don't know what to make of this, but I haven't read any Daniel Abraham books yet. I've read some Expanse books, and I love those, but I have Dagger and the Coin. I have Long Price Quartet. I've never actually read any of him, even though Alan over at Library of Alexandria makes me want to read them like crazy. But I haven't really heard a ton of feedback on this one, but I don't think that I would be getting to it before I got to one of those other 2 completed series. But thank you for the thought, whoever did send this to me. If it was Daniel Abraham, hey, how you doing? Thanks. I appreciate it. Next up, guys, I got some crazy stuff. I did get some gifts from my family, believe it or not. My oldest watched Beetlejuice last year with us for our little Halloween Fright Fest that we usually do at the house. So he thought it would be clever to get me the handbook for the recently deceased, which I am here for. I think it's really cool. It's just a journal, guys. The first couple of pages are similar to the movie, then it's just a journal, which is awesome. If you, like I said, if you work in finance, you need a nice new ledger. It's a really cool touch. My wife got me my bucket list book, The Godfather, which I have already read. And guys, I'm going to be reviewing this rather soon because the book, I won't say it's just as good as the movie because I adore that movie, But the movie's in here, guys. You can see the movie in here for sure. You can see why they made some changes that they did, but also you can kind of look at this as like a director's cut, and it's quite enjoyable. So I can't wait to talk about that one. And let's see here. My youngest actually got me something from Doctor Who, a nice stuffed Dalek. Yeah, Exterminate, right, guys? It's kind of funny as he got me this, and then like after a couple days, I found it in his bedroom. So I'm like, just like Homer with getting, or getting Marge the bowling ball that said Homer on it. I kind of feel like it was some of that. What else, guys? From Dustin actually got me this All Hail the Crimson King t-shirt, which is just superb, guys, because I used to say I never was able to find very much Stephen King merchandise, but viewers have sent me a lot of stuff Stephen King related, and anytime I can add some Dark Tower to my wardrobe, well, thank you, Si. That's going to be something I choose to do quite a bit. And I got a mug from a viewer. This one actually came from Charlotte, who said, I was out on Stranger Things, and then your weekly update talking about season 4 made me decide to go ahead and keep watching, and thank you. It was amazing. And she sent me a Hellfire Club coffee mug. It's really cool, guys. Like the handle is actually a horn. Is that coolest or what? Yeah. So Stranger Things, guys. Yeah, still really good. My pen pal, Judy, actually sent me a nice card and a handwritten letter and a Starbucks gift card. Thank you so much. Anytime I can add some coffee to the body, I'm going to do it. And lastly, guys, before I go, I got to talk about this gift from Crow, one of my patrons. He is an awesome guy, and he loves Song of Ice and Fire just as much as I do, and he actually happened to find something, Song of Ice and Fire, that I don't have. Now, this is called the Lands of Ice and Fire, and guys, if you not only love Song of Ice and Fire, but you also love to pore over some maps, this is the collection for you. I'm not going to unfold it here because they're massive, guys, but there's 12 maps in here of the World of Ice and Fire. And every one of them is the most detailed stuff I have ever seen. And I've been looking at these maps for decades now. So the day that we got this, my wife and I actually studied these maps for almost 3 hours. It's an amazing collection, guys. They're huge. They are huge, and they are so detailed. So if you're like me and you're doing a reread right now, I'm currently on a Clash of Kings, and I'm actually kind of following along with everybody with some of these maps. Yeah, this is a great collection to get. So Crow, thank you so much. This is just an absolutely stunning gift, and it was just something that I didn't know that I needed, and now I'm like, my framed Westeros map seems kind of small now. But yeah, it's obviously much more convenient to have that hanging on the wall because these are massive, like I said. But guys, every map that I think that you're going to want, they even have some that have the lines drawn to show you where the character has gone through the first 5 books in the series. So very much worth it if you guys are looking for some more Song of Ice and Fire content, because this stuff is great. Like I said, if I ever want to, you guys are that curious about it, I'd have to do a separate video actually showing all these maps, because like I said, if I try to do that now, it would just be a mess, and I'd be trying to unfold it and all that stuff. It'd be a big mess. But guys, an awesome month of new material. I want to thank you guys so much for everything that you sent to me. 44 isn't the greatest number, but you know what? It could definitely be a lot worse without you guys. So thank you for everything. Thank you for watching, guys. And go ahead and drop in the comments and let me know what you picked up in the month of August. I'd love to hear what you added to your home library. So hit me in the comments, guys, and I will talk to you there.